Hey everybody at Young Guitar, this is Paul Gilbert. I'm going to answer some questions about the Dio album. Alright, first one, why did you decide to make a tribute album for Ronnie James Dio? Well, I've been learning a lot of vocal melodies on my guitar. I think that singers are the masters of melody. And so if I want to improve at playing melodies on my guitar, best thing to do is to copy singers. And I made a list of singers that I wanted to copy. And the first name on the list was Ronnie James Dio. And actually for a few years now, I've been teaching Ronnie James Dio melodies at my Rock Online guitar school at Artist Works. Probably my favorite one is Long Live Rock and Roll, and the verse. And just trying to get that to feel right. There's a lot of details about bending and sliding, and if the note should be short or long, the pick harmonics. There's so many things to get that to sound right. So it's been a great lesson for my students and a great lesson for me. And the more that I worked with it, the better it sounded. And I think I'm ready to try a whole album of Ronnie James Dio music. And one of the biggest reasons was it's like the greatest guitar lesson in the world for me. And Ronnie James Dio was my guitar teacher. So I wasn't really thinking about if it's difficult. I'm thinking more about I'm having such a good time. That was so much fun playing the I would say especially the rhythm parts. I don't play that much heavy metal rhythm guitar. You know, heavy metal rhythm guitar or hard rock rhythm guitar was something I did a lot more when I was a teenager or in my 20s, and it was really nice to return to that, especially with these classic guitar riffs. And it wasn't. I don't think there was anything that really was that difficult, because that's what I grew up with. That's how I learned to play guitar, was playing this stuff. I played a lot of these songs in cover bands. I would say maybe if there's the one thing that took me the longest was the solo in Neon Nights. That I must have played it 100 times before I was happy with it. And it's an unusual chord progression. It's got a lot of seventh chords, like major seventh and minor seventh chords, which you wouldn't expect in a heavy metal song, but that's what it has. And I was trying to figure out, should I play it, kind of my own improvisation, or should I follow Tony, or some mix of both of them? It just took me a long time to really get it right, and also to have the right energy, because it has to be very high energy. And I'm really happy with it at the end. Whereas like the solo in Kill the King, first take. I'm glad that the engineer had the record going, because I was just like, yeah, let me try it once. Played it. It was like, that's it. I'm not going to play it better than that. And to me, that solo, that when Richie played it, it's very loose. It doesn't sound like he composed it. It just sounds like he's going crazy live. He's probably moving his arms around and kind of putting on a show. So it's more about like the live energy and just going for it. And so that's what I did in the first take, and I knew that was. After that I did try a couple more times, and I was just like, nah, that first one's the best one. Just keep that. All right, and the Vivian stuff. I was a little bit worried about Stand Up and Shout, because that song's so fast. And there's one lick that Vivian Campbell does. It's kind of a Gary Moore lick. It's almost like a major seventh arpeggio, like 2 notes per string. And I can't play it like that, because I don't have that style of picking. I just never was able to do that. So I did it as a stretch. Instead of 2 notes on a string, I did 3 notes on a string with a pull off, and then went and hit one lower note with a big stretch. So I played the same notes, and I can get it just as fast, but the way the picking sounds a little different. So that's the best I could do. Hopefully it's all right. I think it still has I can still play it with some strength. So that's the important thing. Well, I'm pretty excited to get on a big stage again and play those songs. I really like the idea that we're going to do the Lean Into It album complete, every song, the whole album. We've never done that before, and I think that album deserves to be played. And I'm also excited about Nick DiVirgilio on drums. I think he's the perfect choice. Of course, we'll always miss Pat Torpey, but I think Nick, I've jammed with Nick already, and that's what gave me the idea. It was like it reminded me of the way Pat played, and also Nick's an incredible lead singer. So that was one of the parts about Pat, was for our harmonies, his voice is such an important part of it, and I think Nick will do a great job with that. And for the final tour, I mean, we're kind of, I think as a band, we're all finding other things and other passions, but I think it makes sense to do like one last great full energy tour of Mr.Big. To me, it just makes sense. It feels right. It's hard to explain feelings, but to me, I think we're all going to be in a great mood. I think it's going to be fantastic, and just have a great celebration of a great band. When you're doing something for the last time, I think you put a little bit extra energy and emotion into it, and so I think that's going to be really cool. Now, a lot of times, like, our manager always tells us to talk about the production. Like, there's going to be videos and explosions, and I'm sure he'll help us do that. But I think the most important thing is music and the songs and the playing and the people. And I'm glad my doctor says my hip's going to be okay by the time we play. That was a surprise I didn't expect. But I'm already exercising a lot and standing up. Actually, standing up feels better than sitting down, but so standing up is just fine.